Hello. I hope that all is well to those who are listening. My name is Janae, and I'll be discussing the topic of racism inside of the criminal justice system. Now, let me begin by stating my premise, or the conclusion that I've reached after conducting all of my research. Here it goes. People of color are disproportionately likely to interact with the criminal justice system, and the criminal justice system operates in ways that are inauspicious to people of color that perpetuates the issue of race inequality within the United States. I chose to carefully frame my claim as such because simply stating that the criminal justice system is racist raises curiosity about how. The question that usually follows is, how is the criminal justice system racist? What have they, meaning the institution and those who work within it, done to demonstrate racist ideals and values? Thus, I thought it to be easier on everyone's end to make my claim as direct and clear as possible. During my research, I found that many of my sources have several overlapping theories in various areas surrounding this subject. One is the author's method of examining racism inside of the criminal justice system. So, in the assessment of racism existent in the criminal justice system, all authors use a theory called critical race theory, which analyzes society and culture as they relate to categorizations of race, law, and power. Another similarity among sources is the belief that there is a condition of mass imprisonment that disproportionately affects people of color, mainly those who are black. Various authors, such as Bobo and Thompson, Garrison, Harrison Lieberman, Hobson and Obida, Jones, Murakawa and Beckett, Nolan, and finally Ostertag and Armeline, all agree that for their population percentage of about 12%, African Americans represent an undue ratio of those incarcerated. To go a bit deeper, this disproportionality spills over from merely incarceration to unrestricted surveillance of those on probation or parole. This too is disproportionate. In addition to the disproportionality of incarceration rates between people of color and whites, the bulk of my sources agree that racism in the criminal justice system is much less overt and obvious than it was in previous years. Instead, it is written into law that appears to be impartial but proves otherwise. A very apparent example is the war on drugs. This initiative became racially motivated when, and I quote from a recognized nation-leading trial attorney, Thomas J. Nolan, that the mandatory minimum prison sentence for possession of 5 grams of crack is 5 years, but the same sentence for powder cocaine requires a possession of 500 grams. So, in other words, the possession of a preferred drug among blacks is punishable 100 times harsher than the possession of a preferred drug of whites. The only difference between the two is form, which leaves race as the only variable responsible for this disparity. Furthermore, the war on drugs specifically targeted people of color by influencing police to patrol poor urban communities, which carries an inordinate number of black and brown persons. Lastly, I would like to pose a few questions that serve as my reductio ad absurdum argument. If the criminal justice system valued equality and practiced race neutral traditions, why is there such a great disparity in the drug arrest rate between whites and people of color when the rate of use between the two are essentially equivalent? Why is a person 11 times more likely to receive a death penalty sentence if the victim had been white? Why do prosecutors and defense attorneys remove non white jurors, which results in a jury that is less sympathetic towards defendants of color? Now, with all of that being said, I would like to thank those who have listened. And although this may be a highly controversial topic, it deserves discussion. I accept and encourage all productive and appropriate feedback. Thanks for watching.